and we want you to go on down there and try it. I said, but, she said, yeah, we know your brother's going to Penn State, and you said you didn't want to go there. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, okay. And sure enough, I got there, and everybody at Morgan State knew me. And I'm like, how do these people know me? But her husband was a professor there.
Oh, okay.
And then when I started trying to get myself together, I called her one night, and I said, Miss Still, I need to tell my family, now how do I do this? How do they pay for this? She said, they don't pay for nothing. And I said, what you mean they don't pay for nothing? I was too off the chain. She said, no, you're there free of charge. Ted said, and he told the university that you were coming, and that is it. Now, why am I saying that? Because I think a lot of watching what they did with me has also been part of the reasons why I think I have the attitudes that I have about youth, about kids. You know, nothing would get me in trouble more in my school district when I would just have said, I've had enough. And I'd be in the office wanting to talk to the principal about what is going on with some of these kids. Because suspending them every other day, and then that's when a lady came in one day and she was talking to me. I had just completed my first year of teaching, and she said, I need to talk to you. And she said, I think you need to consider going back. And I said, going back for what? And she said, no, you really need to see if you might not do better working with troubled kids, because you have a heart for them. And I'm just like, oh my God. So what did I end up doing? I went back and got my master's degree, went on and did this and went on and did that and stayed in it. And they was like, how can you stand these kids? I mean, how do you be bothered with these behavioral kids like this every day? How do you in their kind? I said, they need help.
Yeah.
And until the system can get it together, they need to know that there is somebody that is not going to send them home every day. And then I started seeing it being more of a pattern, and I'll talk about that later, a very pattern type thing, because I can clearly remember when I started doing what I call documentation on kids. And I remember after a while, I said, oh no, I've had enough of this. And I went to the superintendent of the school district and I said, I have a question, I want you to see something. And when I took out those papers, and he said, wait a minute, Ms. Holtz, you've been documenting this all this time? I said, yeah. So I want to know what is so different about an African-American black kid doing this, and the little white kids, you act like, oh, he didn't know what he said, okay? He looked at me, and the next thing I said, well, I'm okay. No, he said, no. He said, we need to talk. And then they called me in again, and they said, no, this is not something you're making. And to make a long story short, then the school district said, we need to come up with an equity policy for the students in the school district, because this is not right and it's not fair. So guess what? That's what they did. Yeah. So that's why I really, I get annoyed with people that want to make problem kids such, just kicking them to the curb. No, they did not ask for a lot of the things that they do. A lot of it is duplication of what they've seen at home, the way parents act. I mean, how you going to feel, if your parent is calling you names and then they get to school and the kids are calling people names, and then they're saying, well, why would you say that? Because that's what my father calls me. That's what my mother calls me. And we need to be careful.
Yeah.
We need to be careful.
I